The sun is shining. It's a beautiful evening for baseball as the Reds and Nationals tangle in Game 2 of a 4-game set with the premier pitching matchup on tap from Great American Ballpark. And hi again, everyone, alongside Chris Welsh. I'm Jim Day. Thanks so much for joining us here tonight. Max Scherzer, if you follow baseball, you know this guy's story. But here in Reds country, the Reds are thinking about what could be in the future with Luis Castillo as righty versus righty matchup tonight.
Well, Castillo certainly has a top of the rotation potential, but Max Scherzer has already reached the top of the rotation. In fact, Scherzer's on that short list as far as I'm concerned of maybe one of the 2 or 3 pitchers in all of baseball that when he pitches, you don't want to miss his start. He's dominating again this year. You see the very low earned run average, but Castillo's off to a really good start. Got to win his last time out. He's got a good changeup working. He routinely throws the ball, 98 to 100 miles an hour, so he certainly has a power arm. Now he just needs a little experience and some game moxie, and who knows, he might be there with Max Scherzer in a few years.
Coming off of his first big league victory, his major league debut against these Washington Nationals on the road, so the second time seeing them. When you talk about the top shelf of pitchers in baseball, you can count them on one hand. Max Scherzer, not only on the hand, in the National League, certainly he might be number 1.
Well, he might be. I mean, there's always going to be an argument who's best in the National League, Clayton Kershaw or right now Max Scherzer. I mean, Scherzer's a guy that he takes no-hitters into these ball games, 5 or 6 innings almost on a routine basis. He came up with the Arizona Diamondbacks. The Detroit Tigers had him, and then he signed a mammoth deal here in Washington, and so far he has paid off big time because you see the number of strikeouts he gets. He dominates. You don't make very good contact off him. He just doesn't give up very many base runners, so he gives himself a chance not only to pitch but completely shut down the other team.
And the Reds were shut down offensively last night. Tough task tonight, but one thing they always do is flash that leather. They were flashing it again last night. Coming up, Jeff McCorrell has that story as we set you up for the Reds and Nationals Saturday Night Baseball on Fox Sports Ohio.
is brought to you by Chevy. Check out our award-winning lineup only at your Tri-State Chevy dealers. And by Skyline Chili. Feeling good, it's Skyline time.
Hey guys, it's meteorologist Brandon Orr here from Local 12. You know, during the game last night, wasn't too bad. We had a front that moved on through. Humidity was just starting to move on out. It's feeling so much better today, especially in terms of humidity. It's way, way down. Temperatures are below average for this time of year, too. 78 degrees to start out the game, so we have fallen out of the 80s. 72 to end the game, and I'm guaranteeing you absolutely no chance of rain. Enjoy the game here on Fox Sports Ohio.
All right, thank you very much. Boy, a fun game last night. A lot of drama in the end. But one of the things that the Reds bring each and every night is defense. And let's talk about outfield defense. And more specifically, let's talk about Scott Schebler and the way this young man has started to play right field. This was a couple of weeks ago against Milwaukee, Stephen Vogt, as he simply steals a home run. Last night, he makes this beautiful running catch. But maybe the coup de grace for him was this play as he guns down Ryan Zimmerman at the plate with an absolute perfect throw. It's our IGS Energy. Bring in the energy. The Cincinnati Reds outfield, 21 outfield assists, which is the most in the National League. 7 apiece for Duvall and Hamilton, and 5 for Scott Schebler. Well, 2 of the hardest throwers in all of baseball, fireballers, if you will, on the mound. It's Max Scherzer versus Luis Castillo. Who wins, the rookie or the vet? It's coming up.
Heads to the mound, trying to back up his first major league victory tonight against a vaunted Washington Nationals lineup. Dusty Baker, 9.5 games clear in the National League East. You look at his career record, 22nd season as manager, and here's how he'll line them up tonight. Brian Goodwin will lead off once again. Stephen Drew moves from second base to shortstop because Daniel Murphy's back in there, and that vaunted middle of the lineup, Harper, Zimmerman, Murphy. Anthony Rendon at third base. Wieters behind the plate. Ryan Rayburn in there tonight as Brian Goodwin fouls off the first pitch, and we are underway. Goodwin, a .254 hitter, 7 home runs, 20 runs driven in. And he skies one to right field. Schebler, easy play, and 1 out for Luis Castillo.
This is the time of night. If you've been to the ballpark, you know it's very tough for hitters to see. The background that they hit from is really almost shines right in their eyes. It's very difficult also for left fielders. But this will give Castillo perhaps a chance to work through the lineup maybe once, maybe twice with, and then getting adjusted to the mound here.
When I'm down on field level, I'm sorry, Chris, they're always talking about not being able to pick up the spin of the baseball quick enough.
Well, and also the movement of the ball, too. I mean, that's what hitters rely on. Hitters have acute eyesight. I mean, off the charts compared to the general public. And they're looking at the seams and they're looking at the exact release point, and it helps when you see the spin to be able to measure what type of pitch it is. But also has something to do with being able to measure the speed of the pitch, and that's where Castillo's changeup comes in, and it's so important.
Also tough out there in left field. You saw Adam Duvall. He'll be shading his eyes for the first part of this game, along with Ryan Rayburn for the Nationals. Castillo works quickly, and his defenders behind him love that about the kid. Ground to right at Scooter Gennett, who gets the start at second base tonight. 2 up, 2 down. And there's your 4 defensive lineup for the Reds. Duvall, Hamilton, Schebler in the outfield. And tell you what, you look around the league, I'm not sure there's a better defensive outfield in the National League. They certainly rack up with the best. Suarez, Cozart, Gennett in there. Aforementioned Votto at first base. Tucker Barnhart hanging the signs once again tonight for Luis Castillo. Schebler, nice play last night, gunning a runner at the plate. And now Castillo will deal with Bryce Harper. 2 home run game last night. Luis Castillo's major league debut came on June 23rd. It was in the nation's capital against this Washington Nationals club. How much do you think that helps him, that he's at least a little familiar with these guys? Went 5 innings.
Well, he knows who Bryce Harper is. I can guarantee you that. And he showed no fear. Didn't try to nibble around the corners on him. And just like he's not doing tonight. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a more effortless 100 miles per hour. Sure, we saw Aroldis Chapman for years throwing it above 100 miles an hour, but he seemed to put everything he had into every pitch. Castillo is just nice and smooth, and all of a sudden it's right there.
And when you have a sunlit background, as you talked about, Chris, and that bad boy's coming 100, extra tough right now.
Well, now Harper doesn't know whether it's coming at 100 or at 87.
Harper riding a 9-game hitting streak into tonight's game. Swing and a miss. Impressive start for the youngster Luis Castillo. Reds coming up. Night here, part of Super Saturdays here at GABP, and Hamilton will lead it off again tonight. Here's your Reds lineup brought to you by Menards. Cozart batting second. Votto, Duvall, Jeanette in there batting fifth tonight. Eugenio Suarez, Schebler moved down. Tucker Barnhart hitting eighth and batting ninth and doing the pitching, Luis Castillo. On the mound for the Nationals, one of the best of the best, Max Scherzer, the two-time Cy Young Award winner.
Well, he brings just about everything a starting pitcher at the top of the rotation would expect to bring. High 90s fastball, great slider, devastating changeup. And he comes right after you.
Rips the first pitch into right center field. This will reach the wall, and bad luck for Billy because it bounces over the wall for a ground rule double. That had triple written all over it.
I really like the aggressiveness of Billy Hamilton right there. He's figuring Max Scherzer's going to come out and throw a first pitch fastball. He's not going to mess around with me and throw a changeup or a breaking ball. And he's got a very low arm angle on that fastball, and you can see the run on it, but he gets it up. Billy's ready for it. Just like that, the Reds get a little something going.
Billy got out of the box very quickly. Earmarked for third base, but he'll take his 10th double of the season. And now Zach Cozart. Here's a long look back at Hamilton, and a first pitch breaking ball is swing and a miss by Cozart.
You know, pitching coaches will tell you that the best way to hold a runner on base if you don't have a good move is to hold the ball for a long period of time. Scherzer does that a lot. You're going to see this tonight anytime Hamilton gets on base.
Bronson Arroyo has talked about that many times over the years. Not a great move, but he would alter the times of which he held the ball and hold longer and longer to hold guys on, and veterans learn that over the years. Max Scherzer is certainly a thinking man's pitcher as well. He's got a rocket arm, a magic arm, but also one of the ultimate thinking man's pitchers. Very much into the analytics. One to Cozart inside, 2-1. Max Scherzer will turn 33 on July 27th. Born in St. Louis, Missouri. 6'3", 215 pounds is Max Scherzer. Three and one.
Well, what Max Scherzer does in a situation like this, he doesn't like to give up anything. No runs at all. So he's looking for a strikeout right here from Cozart. That's why you're seeing sliders, hoping that Cozart's going to chase a little bit.
See what he serves up on the 3-1 count to Cozart. 3-2.
I mean, a lot of pitchers in the first inning give up a leadoff double and you're thinking about damage control. That's a slider from Scherzer. You can see the spin.
So far, Hamilton staying put at second base. League leading 38 steals for Billy. 3-2 hammer just foul, says Will Little, third base umpire.
Pretty close.
Very close. Has to just catch a piece of it, right?
Yeah, it doesn't have to land in fair territory. All it has to do with any part of that baseball crosses any part of that bag. It's fair.
Fouled out of play. Scherzer's numbers in the first half just crazy. Win's not the greatest way to judge a pitcher. 10-5, but his 2.10 ERA, 0.78 WHIP, and man, when he's on, he is mowing guys down. 173 strikeouts and 128 in the third innings. deal a 3-2 pitch again here to Cozart.
Boy, that's a great at bat by Zach Cozart. And that's one of the really the changes that Cozart has made to his game over the last few years. He's shrunk his strike zone. He's really paying attention to strike zone management. And Scherzer threw some pitches in there that were right on the edge. And a lot of right-handed pitchers are going to chase him and swing and miss.
Well, the Reds missed Scherzer the first time around, that 3-game set in D.C.
Now, this is the matchup I've been looking forward to.
Two of the best, Scherzer v. Votto. 2 on, nobody out. Not only did the Reds miss Scherzer in D.C., but he has never pitched here in Cincinnati. First pitch strike to Joey. Votto 312, 26 home runs, tied for most in the National League. Team leading 68 RBIs, and that on base percentage sitting at .425. Oh, 1. Back to back.
Yeah, first pitch slider, second pitch fastball. You know, you got to remind yourself, though, that it's still very difficult to see. Advantage pitcher right now until the sun gets down below the level of the stadium. And all this area right here becomes darkened.
Oh, 2. Check swing. Votto 4 for 8 in his career versus Scherzer, and a home run. And who says he's not clutch? I give you those numbers.
If you're looking for a breaking ball count to go on, this might be the one.
Really not a huge lead at second base. Runners hold up, and Votto goes down swinging. 1 out.
That's a changeup right there, and you can see how good the arm action was for Max Scherzer on it. Sold it like a fastball. Votto never really got a read on any of these pitches in this at bat. I think from the very first pitch you can see the backwards rotation, kind of a screwball rotation, the fadeaway and the sink at the end.
.281 hitter is Duvall. 20 home runs, 61 RBIs. You know, first pitch strike again.
With 1 out, this may be a situation where Billy Hamilton would ponder going to third base. I mean, he's been very good. He's got 9 steals of third base so far this year, second most in all of baseball. I mean, he's had 59 in his career. So with 1 out now, you may want to take a shot at it so that a fly ball can score you.
Little cat and mouse game going on. Murphy holding him on. Scherzer paying a lot of attention.
Yeah, I don't think Scherzer's really the kind who's going to throw. He'll throw over to first base a lot, but it's not really to pick the runner off. I mean, he's just trying to hold the ball a long time to upset the timing of the runner. It also upsets the timing of the hitter.
Now a little meeting between Wieters and Scherzer. In fact, Daniel Murphy's going to join the crowd.
Yeah, Murphy may be reminding Scherzer, all right, this is my sign if I'm going to put a pickoff on. I'm going to go to my cap, or I'm going to pick at my belt, or something like that.
Swing and a miss. And just like against Votto. Scherzer ahead 0-2. Duvall getting his first look at Max Scherzer.
This would normally be a count where Scherzer's going to drop that slider on him. So if you're looking for a breaking pitch to go on, this might be it. Or it could be a waste pitch up and in with a fastball.
Hamilton stays put again, and Duvall went chasing. Back-to-back strikeouts and big ones for Scherzer.
Yeah, one of them comes on an 0-2 count. The other, Votto's, comes on a 1-2 count. So Scherzer doesn't shy away with runners on base. He doesn't start picking at the corners until he puts the batter into the defensive spot.
The Reds are going to take advantage of getting the first two on against Scherzer. It's going to have to be Scooter Gennett coming through.
Well, he's done that before.
Gennett in the 5 slot tonight. Brian Price trying to take advantage of those power numbers. Suarez's bat has cooled off over the last several weeks. You got Scott Schebler hitting 7th tonight, so you got power in that spot.
You know, watch Scherzer's arm slot where he throws the ball from. It's a very low 3/4, maybe even a high sidearm. I think that gets some getting used to for hitters. I mean, the only other pitcher that I can think of that is a top of the rotation type pitcher that you see a lot that throws from that low of an arm angle is Chris Sale. Of course, a former White Sox pitcher who's now with the Red Sox, pitching tonight, as a matter of fact.
And a counterpart in the All-Star game,
yeah.
The starter for the American League.
That's right.
Swing and a miss, and Max Scherzer dances around, 2 on and nobody out. Off to the second. Department of Job and Family Services rode the Fan Express to Reds country to root the team on here at Great American Ballpark. You can find out more about the Reds Fan Express. Go to reds.com/Fan Express, and we welcome them on this Saturday night, and we welcome you at home, on your phone or tablet, wherever you may be checking us out here on Fox Sports Ohio. Alongside Chris Welsh, I'm Jim Day. Scoreless game through 1. As Ryan Zimmerman take his first AB of the game against rookie Luis Castillo to put together a 1-2-3 first inning. Zimmerman third highest batting average in the National League. And again, you look at the top 3 in the NL, they're all wearing Nationals uniforms, and they're all in the lineup hitting back to back to back. Zimmerman, your starter in the National League at first base in the All-Star game, along with Bryce Harper, along with Daniel Murphy at second base, and along with tonight's starting pitcher Max Scherzer. So a star-laden lineup and team for Dusty Baker's squad. Reds did hold Zimmerman in check last night, though. 0 for 3, did draw a walk. Back on Castillo's major league debut against Zimmerman, he was 1 for 3, but he induced 2 double play ground balls, did Luis Castillo.
Yeah, one of those came off the bat of Zimmerman, as I remember. It was kind of a check swing and came at a perfect time to get him out of it.
Yep.
Had a very tough jam early in the game.
He grounded into a 4-6-3 double play to end the third, and a 6-4-3 double play to end the fifth, both getting Castillo out of jams, and that one in the fifth was the final batter he faced on that day. It's a fly ball center field. Hamilton fighting off the sun. Well, it's the first out.
Well, you may ask yourself when you see Hamilton shading his eyes with the sun right there, well, why isn't he wearing sunglasses? Well, the problem is that part of the outfield is in the sunshine, the other part is in the shade, so it's difficult to look with sunglasses on. You know, it's like driving into a dark tunnel. You're in sunlight, all of a sudden you're in the tunnel and you have to take your sunglasses off. So he's right on that line right there, which will be gone in an inning or two.
And in center, you're not looking directly into the sun as you are in left field. That makes a little bit of a difference as well. First pitch strike to Daniel Murphy. Had the night off last night, simply just an off day. Dusty Baker giving his All-Star an off day coming off of the All-Star break. We expect Zimmerman and Harper to each be off in the next couple days, although we'll see. You never know.
Remember, it was Murphy that really took the spot that was supposed to be Brandon Phillips. Phillips was supposed to be traded to the Washington Nationals when the Reds had him here, and he declined to go. He just didn't want to be traded. He wanted a little bonus in his contract or whatever. And so the Nationals said, fine, we're going to move on. They end up signing Daniel Murphy, and I don't think they could have gotten any better results from anybody else in baseball who they plugged in there besides Murphy.
They have certainly not looked back at all from the deal that did not happen. 5 up, 5 down here for Luis Castillo. And now Anthony Rendon will stroll to the plate, riding an 8-game hitting streak. .308 hitter, delivered an RBI last night, 2 for 3 night last night. A 5-0 win by the Nationals. Castillo might be a little extra careful here. Back on that debut, Rendon took him deep. One of 2 home runs he gave up on that day, and here's a drive to left field. Foul. And Luis says thank you very much for being just a little ahead on that one. One. Appears to not want to go back inside. 3-1 pitch. Check swing, ball 4. First base runner for the Nationals. MLB.TV Premium is back and better than ever. Watch every out-of-market regular season game live on over 400 supported devices. Plus, get a free subscription to At-Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. 2 outs and a runner aboard. Matt Wieters, the catcher. Switch hitting catcher, will bat from the left-hand side. Steele with a high hold, throw over. Rendon does have 5 steals on the season. He's been caught stealing twice.
You know, Castillo's not the kind of guy that's very easy to steal off of. Not because he's got a great move to first, but because he's very quick and compact to the plate.
So even more to like about this guy.
There's not much to dislike. I mean, I love his stage presence, #1. What his mound presence, if you want to call it that in baseball terms. His arm obviously speaks for itself when you throw 100 miles an hour. I'm still scratching my head as to how the Reds ended up getting him from the Marlins.
Well, it was one of those classic deals where you buy low and sell high.
Well, I don't even know if it was that low. I know that the Reds asked for him first when the Marlins first came to them and said, hey, we want to make a deal for Dan Straley, and the Marlins said, no, we're not willing to move Castillo. He's our #2 prospect in the organization.
Well, my point being is they got Straley off of waivers.
That's very much so. You're right there.
And then you sell high when his stock is high. And those are the type of trades, let's face it, as Votto, does he have room? He does not. Those are the type of trades a market like Cincinnati that you just have to make.
Well, the one thing that was attractive to the Marlins was that, you know, it's a little better ballpark to pitch in for a fly ball pitcher than the Great American for Straley. He was still under team control for 3 or 4 more years. Right. So it wasn't like he was going to be a free agent anytime soon, and he's worked out pretty well for them. He threw the ball well last night in his start. So yep. I think that, you know, they got a major league ready pitcher. And they knew what they were getting in Straley.
Swing and a miss.
I'll take that deal again.
Strands 1. Still scoreless. Great American. Check out your Ford defensive lineup for Dusty Baker's Washington Nationals. Ryan Rayburn, who was with the Reds in spring training, in left field tonight. Goodwin in center. Bryce Harper in right. Rendon, Drew, Murphy back in there at second base tonight. Zimmerman at first. Wieters and Scherzer, your battery. first inning. Scherzer gives up a ground rule double to Billy Hamilton, a walk to Cozart, but calmly strikes out 3 in a row to get out of the inning. He'll face Suarez, Schebler, and Barnhart here in the home half of the second. In the air right side, and Harper. Did that ball bounce?
I think it did, and this is where, you know, home field advantage comes into play in baseball, because, you know, all ballparks have slightly different configurations, and it's more difficult for those corner outfielders to figure out where you are. Harper's not going to ruin his career, or, you know, even the short temporary stint of being hurt by running after a ball and maybe running into that wall. It looks padded, but that pad is not much when you've got concrete behind it.
We've seen many guys run into that wall right there or slide into it. Like you said, that is a tough go when you hit that, particularly when you're running hard and looking up at a baseball.
I'll tell you, after the years, Jay Bruce became an expert at being able to field balls down that line. Not an easy thing to do.
Suarez stays alive. Suarez seeking his first hit off of Max Scherzer. 0 for 5 in his career. Here comes the 2-2. And we've gone full. Eugenio choking up on that bat and draws a walk. Second walk given up by Scherzer, and we're early in the game. Just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, look forward to our Miller Time moment later in tonight's game, brought to you as always by Miller Lite. I want to tell you what, Mother Nature, thank you. It is a beautiful day here in the Queen City.
And a lot of people came out to the ballpark tonight to celebrate this big day of baseball and activity on the river. Big festival going on over there in Newport this weekend.
Summertime in the Queen City.
Well, whereas Scherzer went after Joey Votto with off-speed pitches, slider, fastball, and then changeup, eventually put him away with the strikeout. Scherzer's fastball really is a little better against Schebler, because Schebler will chase that pitch up out of the zone, the pitch that Votto won't go after. Here comes the changeup now.
Lays off of it. Counts 1-1. I found it very interesting before the game. You're looking at the history of Max Scherzer. One, we were wondering why Arizona ever got rid of him, but two, like, has this guy ever been injured? And couldn't find any injury. In fact, he's made 30 starts a season since 2009.
Yeah, the only thing I think he's had is a sore shoulder back in 2009 or something, you know, so nothing that requires surgery. And normally for pitchers that throw as hard as Scherzer does, and he's on that, you know, top 10 or top 15 list as far as velocity of pitchers in the major leagues, starters that is. But when you start accumulating all the pitches and all the strikeouts and all the starts, why is everybody else's elbow blowing out but not Max Scherzer?
Tis one of the great mysteries of baseball. Schebler fights it off and fouls it out of play. When you go back to the start of 2013, Joe Luckup tells me that innings pitched, these are in MLB ranks. Scherzer first, strikeouts first, wins first, third in winning percentage, 2.84 ERA, top 3, and 10 or more strikeouts in a game, 50 times first.
Well, if you go all those strikeouts, you're guaranteed to have more pitches thrown than any of the other pitchers as well, too.
Swing and a miss.
Boy, is that nasty.
Schebler tried to fight off that pitch on the inside part of the plate, but that was a filthy pitch.
Looked like a cutter, maybe a slider. I mean, Scherzer has every weapon that a pitcher wants, but he's got control over them too.
Maybe a little guess by Schebler. That one didn't appear to be in the strike zone even to start with.
Not from here, but down there, it may be a different story.
That's true. It's coming from someone that's never been in a major league batter's box.
Well, you know what they say about that, though, Jim. And you know, the farther you get away from the dirt, the easier the game appears.
Oh, yeah.
So it looks easy to us. Here we are up in the third level, and it looks even easier if you're sitting in your living room watching on that big screen TV, you know, and you're thinking, why can you chase that pitch?
Well, one thing that has kept me grounded over the years, and I'm thankful for this, is I'm down on field level and I'm around these players every day. And you tend to realize how hard of a game this is. I mean, when you get down to the bare bones of it, it's still a round ball and you're trying to hit it with a round bat. And it's coming at 90 plus, sometimes 100, and it's moving, and you don't know what they're throwing. It is a hard game. You know it more than anyone else.
Well, yeah, it was especially hard for me. But
I don't mean it like that. I mean, you've been out there on a major league field.
Well, I think what happens is that, you know, from a pitching standpoint, yeah, you're throwing a round ball and they've got a round bat, but if you make a mistake, they're going to be hitting. They're going to hit it because they're big league hitters. You're talking about the best out there. So as a pitcher, you've got to live on those corners, and that's exactly where Scherzer is. He's right on the edges of that strike zone.
I mean, the movement on that ball. That is 5 of them now for Scherzer. 5 of the last 6 batters he struck out, all swinging. Here's Luis Castillo.
It seems like he doesn't get all geared up until he gets a runner on base.
Another mark of a great pitcher. Castillo 0 for 10 in his young Major League Baseball hitting career. And he has not come close to 2 offerings from Scherzer. And again, he strikes out the side. All 6 outs for Scherzer. Punch outs.
Jeff Pecoro, no score here through 2 innings. Before the game today, Reds general manager Dick Williams, they honored all of the 3 players, or 2 players and the trainer, who were in the All-Star game for the Cincinnati Reds. So you see that Zach Cozart on the left, Joey Votto on the right, and that guy right there in the red shirt, that's Steve-O, the guy they call Steve-O. He is the Reds trainer, also on the staff for the All-Star game. They got those plaques before the game from Dick Williams there on your left. He, of course, the general manager of the Reds. So all of them honored today. Remember, in this game, 7 players on these 2 teams made it to the All-Star game, including Steve Bauman there, the Reds trainer. So nice awards before the game. And a little bit later, we're going to show you what else was on the field before the game.
Very nicely done.
Yeah.
And, yeah, indeed, you'll be talking about donkeys.
Amos.
I know Chris Welch is pumped up about that. Here's Ryan Rayburn. Oh, nice catch. Yes, sir. And a bow. This game is only 2 innings old, but so far both pitchers seem to be on their game. Not surprised on Scherzer's part, but with a rookie, you never know what you're going to get. Castillo, you talk to the players that play behind him, and they've talked about what you talked about last inning, the presence of this kid. Some guys, some rookies will come up, they'll let things bother them, particularly if they don't get strike calls by an umpire. Body language is bad. And this kid Castillo, they say, is unflappable so far. It just, you can't tell if he's upset at an umpire. In fact, Zach Cozart told me a story that, and he threw out this name, not me. He said, I haven't seen this presence since a young Johnny Cueto, where there was an instance in where Zach made an error behind Cueto. Cueto looked at him and said, no problem, I got this, I'm going to get out of this. Same thing happened recently. Scooter Gennett makes an error. Luis Castillo looks at Gennett and says, no problem, I'm getting out of this, which he did. And Cozart just raves about this kid's presence. Zach's been around long enough to know good presence and non-presence.
A lot of confidence in his breaking ball right here. Barnhart is calling him and Castillo is throwing him. And that's a pretty good 3-2 slider right there. You like those sliders that have depth, that not necessarily that slide across the plate, but the ones that go down. So Castillo got the old breaking ball from Scherzer, and now Scherzer's getting a little bit of his own medicine.
As a pitcher, did that upset you when you got the old number 2?
Well, no, actually, it upset me more when I gave up a base hit to an opposing pitcher.
Steele, per usual, working quickly. There's a drive into right center field, but Schebler goes over and gets it. Now back to the top of the order, and Brian Goodwin. Back on June 23rd in Castillo's major league debut, it was Goodwin who provided a 2-home run game, and one of those home runs came off of Luis Castillo. In fact, it was the second batter that Castillo faced in his major league career. You could say it was welcome to the bigs, kid. Right back to the box, and a pretty play. Dandy play by Castillo. game. Rodney Dale Fields from Lebanon, Ohio, will win this beautiful new Tundra on display here at the ballpark. Register for your chance to win in an upcoming game by seeing your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers. Top of the order for the Reds. Billy Hamilton, Zach Cozart, Joey Votto will face Max Scherzer. All 6 outs recorded by Scherzer so far, all strikeouts. And Hamilton, just like he did in the first inning, first pitch swinging and a base hit. 2 for 2.
Well, Billy says that if Scherzer's going to give him a first pitch fastball, he's going to be ready for it. Lines one in the gap for a double his first time up. He's seen 2 pitches and 2 line drives. Now, Billy did not attempt to steal third base in that first inning when he led off with a double. Cozart walked, and then 3 strikeouts ended the inning. I would imagine, though, now this is going to be a little more cat and mouse here with him at first base.
Base runners against Scherzer could be scarce. That classic case of if you get one on, you better put one across if possible. And when you got the league leader in steals, why not take a shot? Decent lead. Another throw over.
Yeah, he'll do that a lot, but you see there's nothing on the throw. He's not taking a chance of throwing it down the right field line. He's just trying to get Hamilton a little bit out of his rhythm.
There he goes. Throw from Wieters. Not in time. 39th steal of the season to increase his league lead.
I really like the fact that Billy's going to do it early in the count. Does it on the first pitch after a couple of throw-overs. They probably have looked at it. I mean, they break down the analytics so tight. And they probably figured out that Scherzer doesn't very often throw over 3 times in a row. He may throw once, he may throw twice, but not 3 times. Hamilton knows that. And he's in there ahead of a bouncing throw. Even slipped a little bit on the getaway.
Well, he told me that when he goes in head first, he didn't get a good jump. If he goes in feet first ever, he got a great jump. Although most of the time we do see him go head first, particularly into second base. Billy now with that sliding mitt, if you will, custom made. Before they just they had one of those. It's almost like plaster Paris that they made themselves. You know, when you break your arm and you've got that, I don't want to say old school plaster Paris but it was like a cast that just kind of fit on his hand. But this one is custom made by, I'm not sure what company makes it. I got to tell you though, if you're going in with that hand, it gives you about a ½ inch advantage.
Well, at least more than that. I mean, let's be real about that. Billy Hamilton's not the only one to wear one of those, but it is significantly longer than his fingers.
Yes.
Looks like an oven mitt.
I was being conservative on the ½ inch. It gives him a significant advantage. And you're right, he's not the only one to go to it.
But any of these pieces of equipment like that have to be approved by Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
So evidently within the guidelines.
And I remember early on in his career, I want to say it was Joe West who made him take it off. Because maybe that was before MLB mandated it. I'm not sure. But I remember them taking it off. And I don't know if that was from the visiting dugout or what, but basically Joe West was saying it gives you an advantage, and let's face it, it does. But it's also protective. I mean, he has hurt his hand, his fingers, his thumb many times sliding head first. They'd rather him not do it head first, to be honest with you. But he's so used to doing it, and he thinks that's the quickest way for him to get in, that he sticks with it. Great crowd on hand here at Great American Ballpark on a beautiful night. And again, Billy driving Scherzer crazy at this point, and Wieters is going to have a conference again.
Well, Scherzer, meanwhile, is having a hard time trying to figure out which pitch he can throw by Zach Kozar. Kozar's been very, I guess, pesky, fouling off a lot of breaking balls and changeups.
Fouls another off. It's been impressive to watch Kozar, the patience this year, and he's looking at a lot more pitches.
Yeah, it's amazing also to realize how teams are pitching him, and they're throwing him fewer and fewer fastballs. I mean, Scherzer has one of the best fastballs in the game, but looks like he's really reluctant to throw him one right here.
Count stays at 2-2. Billy Hamilton on second base, nobody out. Splinters the bat and fouls another one off.
Another one of those cue shots. Another slider.
Couple of toothpicks coming off of that bad boy, just like last night. Who was that? A Heisey at bat last night, I think.
Those were big toothpicks there. They were more like Australian chewing sticks.
Like one Johnny B. Dusty Baker uses.
Exactly.
Check swing. Dusty works those chewing sticks over. I guess you can't call them toothpicks with him, right?
They're not toothpicks.
One of the ends are rounded on those, as opposed to a toothpick pointed on both ends. There's your minutia for the night. Ninth pitch of the at bat coming, and again he fouls it out of play. Terrific battle right now between Scherzer and Kozar, with Hamilton providing the drama as well.
You know, this one at bat, it might be enough to cost Scherzer one inning later in the game. And the sooner you can get to the Washington bullpen, the better.
Scherzer, another long look in. Walked it. What an at bat by Kozar. Look at our Elk and Elk storylines tonight. Highest average since the 2016 All-Star break, and look at Votto and Murphy. 356, 342. And that guy in third spot on that board, Jose Altuve, man, does he just continue to hit. Probably doesn't get enough publicity for it. What a hitter he is. Along with this guy in the box. 2 on, nobody out. As opposed to Joey's first at bat, in which Scherzer got ahead 0-2, he looks at ball 1. Votto hitless last night, 0 for 3 and a walk. Struck out his first time up. So you don't expect him to go through many droughts. And you even commented last night, I mean, the guy's got a near 500 on base percentage, at least in the mid 400s, that you're just not used to him making an out.
Well, Scherzer is pitching a somewhat a unique game so far tonight. He's faced, what, 11 batters, and only 2 balls have been put into play, both base hits by Billy Hamilton.
Votto choking up even more against the flame-throwing Scherzer.
Well, Votto knows what he got him on the first time. It was a changeup, really well placed down around the knees. It faded away from him. Votto was way out in front of it. Votto makes adjustments as well or better than any hitter in baseball.
Two and two. Stephen Drew trying to do his best to hold Billy Hamilton close to second base. Votto stays alive.
What Hamilton is not doing here with Votto up and nobody out is taking a big enough lead to really worry Scherzer. I think he's kind of taken him off the worry hook right now. So Scherzer's now able to really concentrate more on Votto than worrying about Hamilton stealing, because you don't normally steal with nobody out. Steal third base, that is.
Here comes the 2-2 again. Nope. Step back. With a little bit bigger lead, and there he goes. Swing and fouled out of play. That's the way to get to the bullpen right there.
Well, you're right. 19 pitches in the first inning, but he struck out the side in the second, but he's not retired anybody here in the third, and he's already thrown 17.
Back-to-back long at-bats here. Votto takes one upstairs, and we've gone full. Balls, 2 strikes. Runners on first and second, nobody out, and pitch number 8 of the at bat in a moment. Scherzer steps off again. Steps back, I should say. Pitch. Called strike 3. Jeff Kellogg, the crew chief, rings him up.
Now, fastball right on the inside corner right here. I think Wieters wanted it away. Scherzer throws it right on the corner.
Man, that's just a beautiful pitch.
Yeah, sure is.
Look at the look back at Joey like, yep, that's nasty. Now with one out, here's Duvall. Himself a strikeout victim back in the first. Late swing. Sky ball, left side. Who wants it? Drew calls off Rendon, out number 2. A Great American Ballpark, your family day destination, thanks to Klosterman Bakery. You get half-price Reds tickets, live mascot races, all kinds of things for kids. Kids 14 and younger will get a team baseball card set thanks to Cons tomorrow. Tickets, visit Reds.com. 110 start here tomorrow, Great American Ballpark. So Scherzer trying to repeat inning number 1, in which Hamilton got a hit, Cozart walked, and he got out of it with 3 straight outs. Scooter Gennett trying to avoid that scenario. Looks at a first pitch strike. Season average for Gennett sitting at .310. He's been mighty impressive. And his power numbers have been a welcome addition to this organization. Him badly. You're right. This guy just turns up the wick with runners on base.
Well, after he got that second out, the pop-up of Duvall, you could see his body language change completely. I mean, he came storming right back up on the mound. Couldn't wait to come after Gennett. And he's ahead now, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Looks at strike 3, strikeout number 8. Max Scherzer, scoreless game. Hamilton was part of a meet and greet, and Matt Hare and Jessica Torbeck from Sharonville stepped up, and Billy handed her a baseball. She thought it was just a signed baseball, but little did she know that that authentic baseball was carved out, and inside it was an engagement ring. Matt Hare got on his knees. Check out the baseball. I mean, that's an authentic baseball they carved out, put a hinge on it, and Billy Hamilton was in on it and handed the baseball to her. There's the ring. She said yes. So she thinks she's getting a signed baseball from Billy Hamilton, and lo and behold, not only does she get that and a picture with Billy, but wedding plans in the future. Great moment here at GABP. Ain't love grand as they say. Stephen Drew versus Luis Castillo. And while Max Scherzer has struck out 8 in this game, Castillo has 3 strikeouts, but the only column that matters is that runs column, and right now it's 0-0. And he strikes out Drew swinging. So right now standing toe-to-toe with Scherzer. Built this up as a good pitching matchup, and so far, so good.
Well, he's doing it much more efficiently than Max Scherzer at this point as well. That changeup that he throws, that's the grip right there. It's kind of a modified circle change. Look how it really just dives at the end. I mean, you're geared up for something, you know, in the high 90s, and he's throwing it there in the mid to high 80s.
But now Bryce Harper staring him down. Harper not only riding a 9-game hitting streak, but he's got a 17-game on base streak.
I mean, was he serious about that bunt right there? The Reds are shifting him, so if he wants first base, he can lay a bunt down.
Well, Jeanette's playing about 5 feet on the grass in short right field. Votto's playing deep.
But I mean, right here,
yeah,
all that area right there, if he decides to lay one down, and Harper's a good enough batter to be able to do that. But then you put it on the next guy to try to hit Castillo.
Ground ball, and he finds a hole. First hit given up by Luis Castillo.
So ask Bryce Harper, if you're down there, what's the difference between that and the bunt?
Pride, maybe, I don't know. Be about it. Goes into the box score all the same. Ryan Zimmerman. Flying out to center, first time up. Castillo, one of the few pitchers making that jump from Double-A to the big leagues.
Well, if you look at his numbers throughout the minor leagues, and again, they remind me a lot of Max Scherzer. Now, Scherzer didn't spend a whole lot of time in the minors. He came out of a college program at Missouri, so he was a much more polished and older pitcher than Castillo was. Castillo signed international free agent when he was 19 years old. But the Reds weren't the only team that wanted Castillo. In fact, he was traded prior to the Reds obtaining him. Same year, the Marlins were going to trade him to the Padres in a deal that ended up getting reneged because of some medical issues on one of the pitchers that came over, Colin Ray. So they undid the deal. Castillo came back from San Diego back to Miami, and Miami dealt him on here to the Reds.
Coming out of spring training, everyone in the organization said they wanted him to work on shoring up that curveball, getting his secondary pitches in order.
I mean, it sounds good. I mean, the organization's got to come up with something. I mean, there's so many people asking questions, wanting to write stories, wanting to do video vignettes about why this player is going where. They're going to come up and say something. Bottom line is bottom line. Castillo throws 100 miles an hour with a Major League Plus changeup.
You just made the point where I was going.
And if you look at his numbers in the minor leagues, his strikeout to walk ratios are simply off the charts, and that's where they remind me a lot of Scherzer. And at 24 years old, you know, maybe he's a little late coming to the major leagues compared to some guys who were signed when they're 16.
Back in spring training, if you asked the catchers Guys that really know the guy's stuff, they all to a man said this guy's stuff will play up here right now.
Yeah, but you know, in the same vein, there were a number of other pitchers that had good springs and they had good years the year before in the Reds organization, and the Reds are trying to evaluate. We've seen a lot of them. You know, Robert Stevenson, Cody Reed, David, Rookie Davis, Sal Romano, Garrett, Amir Garrett. I mean, you can go on and on. So there was a lot of pitchers that the Reds wanted to take a look at. And they thought that, you know, from the maturity standpoint, the number of innings pitched and so on, maybe AA was the best place for Castillo.
And at AA, the pitching coach Danny Darwin there, Luis himself gives a lot of credit to the work that Danny Darwin did with him the time he was at AA. And throughout the organization and talking to scouts, etc., you hear a lot of good things about Danny Darwin. Pitcher, been there, done that.
Boy, you're not kidding about that, man.
And let's face it, on this level, it is, I hate the saying, but I'm going to use it anyways. It is what it is. Pitchers like to hear stuff from guys that have been there at this level. And to say that that does not exist, then you have not been around major league pitchers very often. And that's just the way it is. That's not demeaning anyone. 3-2 pitch to Zimmerman. Walked him. Oh, strike three call.
A little bit of a late call there by the home plate umpire Jeff Kellogg, and a little sideways hairy eyeball look from Zimmerman. But the breaking ball looked like it caught the corner.
Had me fooled, because it was a late call.
On the blackjack.
That's what you call painting it.
Actually, that's one of those backup breaking balls, those backup sliders that, you know, sometimes you get this weird spin on it, and instead of breaking down in a way the normally way it does, it kind of hangs right there or goes the other way.
Daniel Murphy sends one into left center field, and this one is going to score a run. Here comes Harper around third base, and the Nationals are on the board. Two out, RBI double off the bat of Daniel Murphy.
Boy, a little flick of the wrist by Murphy. Very short swing. Didn't even put much into it. Look at that. Just kind of went down there to get it. Castillo supplies the speed. Murphy supplies the sweet part of the bat.
That's just a good piece of hitting. And Murphy's been doing it all season long. Came in with a .342 batting average. Now double number 30 here in 2017. And no time to rest. Rendon at the plate.
Rendon looks to me like a really good low ball hitter. You watch where he holds his hands, and then as he starts to get loaded, when he gets his hands in a hitting position, he kind of brings them up, but everything is down. Everything he looks like he's ready to drop that bat head. The foul ball home run that he hit this first time up before he walked, that pitch was down.
Two balls, no strikes. Over this 8-game hitting streak coming in, Rendon .429 average, 5 doubles, 5 RBIs, and 3 runs scored. Hot hitting third baseman who was awfully busy defensively last night as well. Turn him loose here at 3-0.
You have to assume that if you're Castillo.
Paints hits the outside. 3-1. From 3-0 to 3-2. 2 outs. Castillo trying to keep the damage to 1. Payoff pitch. Drive in the left center field. Gone. 2-run home run, Anthony Rendon, and a 3-0 Nationals lead. Number 17 for Rendon.
Well, the ball down to the zone and out over the plate. You know what? Castillo hasn't really done much tonight. He hasn't come inside and hasn't come up and in. And not, I don't mean off the plate, up around somebody's head or anything like that. I mean just off the plate or on the inner part of the plate. And the damage has been done on pitches that are out over the dish, and he hasn't shown them the other side of home plate yet.
Castillo will make the play. Damage done. 3 spot by the Nationals. 3-0 lead.
Ohio is brought to you by Cincinnati Children's, changing the outcome together. And your local Ford dealer, Ford, go further. Well, our showstopper today, let's take a look back at Tuesday, and this is Max Scherzer on the mat, but listen when he pitches. You hear that grunting. He strikes out Judge and Springer there. And you can hear it down here at field level, guys, when he really reaches back. It's almost like watching or listening to a tennis match. You can hear him give that extra oomph when he throws the baseball. It's interesting.
Yeah, who was the female player back in the day? Monica Seles, who they used to give grief because she would make noises and the opposition couldn't hear how the tennis ball was coming off the racket. But I noticed the same thing. Zach Greinke in Arizona. Is there room? There indeed is for Ryan Zimmerman. 1 out. Notice the same thing, Zach Greinke making a lot of noise when he threw the baseball. I have to say even louder than Scherzer is, but I'm not sure how much that throws off a hitter as opposed to what Pick was talking about in tennis.
Well, I don't know. There are probably some pitchers out there that feel like they can throw at the speed of sound. Maybe that's what you're hearing.
Nowadays, you know, they say you can hear it sometimes.
What you can't hit, what you can't hear.
Yeah. Didn't they say that about Jim Maloney back in the day, that you could hear his fastball blaze by you?
Sounded like a strike.
So Max Scherzer now with a 3-0 lead.
And new life, really. You talk about how good the Nationals are. The Nationals are not only a good team, but they're a team with pedigree. And we're going to show you in a minute what I'm talking about. I mean, these guys have been good players individually on the field their entire lives, all the way going back to high school, probably before that. Not just good players, but maybe the best player, you know, in the league, you know, individually. Scherzer being one. Of course, he was a first-round draft pick by the Arizona Diamondbacks, 2006, 11th pick overall. And he gets a pop up in the infield. Let's take a look at what I'm talking about here, about the pedigree of the Washington Nationals. These are all #1 draft picks. Every one of these guys, except the guys that we've shown you. Ryan Rayburn, 5th round. He's a fill-in player anyway. And Daniel Murphy, well, he's the odd one out, really, a 13th round pick. What is he doing around with all these other guys? Of course, Bryce Harper was the #1 pick in the country taken in the year of his draft. And most of those guys drafted by the Nationals. If not drafted by the Nationals, #1 by somebody else.
Hard hit base hit off the bat of Tucker Barnhart. 2-out single.
Now, let's compare them to the Reds. Reds have some pedigree too, but maybe not quite #1 draft picks. 2nd round, Hamilton, Cozart, Votto, and then you fall off from there. Duvall, Jeanette, 16th round. Suarez and Castillo were both signed as international free agents, so they weren't subject to the draft. And Schebler and Barnhart, you know, somewhere down in the draft later on. So, kind of interesting when you look at the makeup of these two teams. That may explain in some part why one team has a payroll, you know, under $100 million, and the other is, you know, closer to $200 million.
However you slice it up, this is a Washington Nationals team that if they can get their bullpen in order or get some help, they are loaded for bear to make a run. And you talk to Dusty and he knows it. He won't come out and say it, but he just speaks with that confidence about this club. 9 strikeouts for Max Scherzer. Off to the 5th we go. Down and dirty, the Camping World Truck Series from Eldora. It's the season's only dirt track race, and it's only on Fox Business Network. To see it in person, go to Eldora'Speedway.com. All right, these are the situations with a rookie pitcher. You want to see how he reacts. Luis Castillo took a single, double, and a home run in the 4th. How will he handle it? We'll find out here in the 5th as he'll face Rayburn, pitcher spot Scherzer, and Goodwin.
Yeah, the bad news is they got 3 in the 4th. The good news is you're facing bottom of the order here in the 5th.
Ryan Rayburn, who was nearly a Red, is with the club in spring training. It was one of the mid-camp cuts by the Reds, and many were a little surprised. It was one of the first cuts, actually. Started paring down the roster.
Well, I don't think it was because they didn't think he could be a valuable piece. I think that he's more valuable to a team like the Nationals. Rayburn is a veteran. You know, he's a good piece off the bench. You know what he can do. But the Reds were rebuilding. They needed players that could play multiple positions. They were looking for versatility. I think they probably did Ryan Rayburn a favor by cutting him loose early so that he could get out there and try to find another job. And here he is with one of the best teams in baseball. Good guy, hard worker.
Dusty also has a guy like Adam Lynn off the bench, who's versatile,
can hit,
can really hit. As a fill-in starter, 284 average, 17 RBIs and 24 starts, but as a pinch hitter, Adam Lynn 357. So they've also got some punch off the bench.
That could have been a chance. That could have been a slider by Castillo to get Rayburn on strikes for the 2nd time. Struck him out on a slider the 1st time. But really, the 1-2 punch so far tonight, it was definitely probably a slider. But the 1-2 punch for Castillo is that fastball changeup combination, and that's what has propelled him through the minor leagues and to the top of the prospect list, and now in the major leagues.
Barnhart calls off Castillo and makes the play. Tucker came a long way out to get that one.
Well, he did, and Castillo was standing right there. Castillo very quick off the mound. But of course, he remembers who's running down the first baseline. Scherzer might be running hard, but he's running hard in the same spot a lot.
Not sure Tucker thought that ball was going to drift that far, but still made the play in time.
So the changeup fastball combination for Castillo has been really what he's been relying on. So let's take a look here at what he's been able to do as far as throwing a changeup and throwing your fastball. On your left is a fastball, and we're going to run that video all the way through here, so you're going to see where it is to Bryce Harper at the plate. Fastball comes in, it'll be up in the upper 90s, 99 miles an hour, and then the same arm slot, here comes a changeup. So that's really what you're dealing with as a hitter. You know, 11 miles per hour difference. One ball sinks, the other seemingly rises.
So does he need a third pitch? Is the third pitch just a show pitch?
No, I think it's a great pitch. I think that you need a pitch that an off-speed pitch that goes both ways. So a slider is one that goes away from right-handers, and the changeup is the one that goes away from left-handers. A lot of pitching knowledge right there between Brian Price and Mac Jenkins.
3-1 the count to Brian Goodwin. And a 2-out walk. Second given up by Castillo. Drew's no slouch, but you certainly don't want to bring Harper to the plate with 2 men on. You want to keep this game right where it is. We're in the 5th. And we've seen that look many times. That is, my pitcher just walked a guy with 2 outs. Look. Ball gets past Barnhart. Down to second goes Goodwin. Wild pitch.
Maybe a little bit of an overthrow there for Castillo. Sometimes you think, you know, you've got to bear down, and what you do is you try to throw harder before you get the ball out in front of you. You pull the ball a little bit and you go right by the catcher.
Counts 1-1 for a 97-mile-per-hour heater. Duvall, long chase, and he ran it down in foul territory. So, indeed, Castillo bounces back. Keeps the score 3-0 Nationals.
Baseball break brought to you by T-Mobile, and Angels' Mike Trout returned. He goes 1 for 5, the stolen base. He's been sidelined since May 29th with that torn ligament in his thumb. 2 All-Stars started today. The Yankees and the Red Sox. Severino went 7. Sales 7 2/3 with 13 strikeouts. All-Star closer Craig Kimbrell gave up that 1 run, and it's now 1-1 in the bottom of the 13th. And Madison Bumgarner was out 3 months. He starts for the Giants tonight. Had that dirt bite accident. Gentlemen, should be interesting to see if those guys can make a difference, especially Bumgarner for the Giants.
On that National League West, there's a lot of work to be done. There's 3 really good teams out west, and how about Chapman giving it up, Kimbrell giving it up. Yankees, Red Sox. Bottom of the 5th. Max Scherzer's given up 3 hits, 2 of them off the bat of Billy Hamilton. Billy lines this one, though, right at Harper. solid contact, but this time an atom ball.
Every time Billy Hamilton has seen a Scherzer fastball, it's resulted in a line drive.
It might be the dental surgery. I've never seen a guy more happy than today. Billy had some work done on Thursday. He had a couple of teeth like completely removed, a couple of implants. That's Goodwin will run this down. And then got some veneers on. He's got a brand new smile. The dude's always smiling. But you want to talk about pumped up. He was so happy after getting surgery. The only thing he said he was worried about, he said, it hurt and it made me talk a little funny. I was hoping I didn't lose my southern accent.
That's classic.
He said the first couple of days I was in a little bit of pain and I was William Hamilton from Ohio. But now today I feel like I'm Billy from Mississippi again. And I'm sure at some point you're going to see this new smile because he's always smiling on the field. But had it done on Thursday here in Cincinnati.
Well, I can't wait because Billy Hamilton, you know, you interview him after a win, usually, and he is by far one of the best interviews in all of baseball. What an upbeat guy. Love him.
You run fast, you got to talk fast. He said the first couple of days he actually talked slower too. I asked him flat out, did you slow down talking at all? He said, yeah, first couple of days I slowed down. I'm back to talking fast again. You know, some of those players say if you look good, you play good. Feel good, play good. 2 for 3 tonight. Scherzer is struck out Votto twice.
Yeah, the last pitcher to do that, and it's been a while, was a little bit more than a year ago in Jose Fernandez. He's worked the count from 0-2 to 3-2.
Two of the best on the split screen. 3-2 pitch. Votto lays off and draws a 2-out walk.
Scherzer's on his way to the dugout. Thought it was strike 3. Look where all those pitches are for Scherzer. I mean, right around the edge of the strike zone. That is uncanny control.
Fox Track says that Scherzer should be in the dugout, but Jeff Kellogg extends the inning for Adam Duvall. Scherzer with 9 strikeouts, 2 outs here into the 5th. And he had 6 through the first 2 innings, so you're immediately thinking, wow, could he get up near that Major League Baseball tying record of 20 strikeouts? With that pitch count at 84, no chance. But he's one of the guys that holds that record. 2016, 20 strikeout game. 2 no-hitters to his credit. Those came in the same regular season, 2015. And he and Randy Johnson are the only pitchers in MLB history to have a no-hitter and a 20 strikeout game on their resume. That's how good this dude is. Tenth strikeout of the night. Strands another. All Nationals so far. This game until the 4th. Harper with a single, and then Daniel Murphy does his damage. RBI double. Next batter, Anthony Rendon. Further welcome to the bigs, Luis Castillo. 2-run big fly. Made it 3-0. And Max Scherzer, like Gio Gonzalez did last night, dealing. 5 innings pitched, 3 hits, no runs. He has walked 4 batters, but his 10 strikeouts, he's worked right around those 4 free passes. Anthony Rendon and the Nationals, second straight night enjoying a lead over the Reds. In fact, we have played 14 innings of baseball coming out of the All-Star break, and the Nationals have not allowed a single run thus far. Harper, Zimmerman, Murphy. Murderer's row here in the 6th for Castillo. Harper after a 2-for-4 night last night, 2 home runs, 1 for 2 tonight with that run score. Time called as baseball that was fouled off fell back on the field. Base coach Bobby Henley retrieved that. Now we're back ready to go. 1-2 pitch to Harper. Fouled out of play. You know, one thing that Castillo's been able to avoid in 4+ starts is we saw some of the Reds rookie pitchers just get blown up early and get knocked out of the game after an inning or so. He's been able to avoid that. He's gone at least 5 innings in every start. Suarez, gloves out, number 1. Reds fans, 4 for $48 weekends are back when the Marlins come to town. Buy 4 View Level Reds tickets and receive 4 vouchers for an ultimate wash from Mike's Car Wash for only $48. Take advantage of the 4 for $48 ticket offer presented by Reach Magazine. For tickets, visit Reds.com.
You know, you make a great point about Castillo being able to kind of solve enough out there on the mound to be able to hang out there for at least 4 or 5, maybe 6 innings. And I think that has to do really with his command. I mean, he's got confidence, obviously, but command allows you to do that. Move the ball in and out. It's way more than just having a good fastball.
He went 5 innings in his debut, then 5 2/3, 5 2/3, and 6 2/3 last time out. And here we are, 1 out into the 6th. And again, his team is in the game. Gave up 4 earned runs at Colorado. Who doesn't? Outfield to the ground ball, 2 outs. So yeah, he's down 3-0, but still you look deep in to the numbers and what he's done so far in a very young career, and there's a lot to like. One for 2 is Daniel Murphy. They got the Nationals on the board last time up with that RBI double. Castillo would love to retire Murphy on just a couple of pitches here. That pitch count at 85. Give him a chance to go back out there and complete the 7th inning at least. 4-pitch walk to Murphy. Third walk of the night for Castillo.
Looked like he was trying a little bit too hard after Murphy got that base hit to get the inning really going when he scored Harper with that opposite field hit. He probably thinks, you know, this guy was on me. He turned around my fastball, which was up near 100 miles an hour. I need to throw it even harder. So the temptation is there still for a young pitcher, inexperienced pitcher like Castillo.
He's given up 3 walks, and they've all been 2-out walks with none on.
As their concentration lapses. Now remember the pitch that Rendon hit. It was low, a little bit above the knees, out over the plate.
All 3 of those 2-out walks, though, he was able to work around. The damage was done in the 4th. Single, double, home run. 5 straight balls delivered by Castillo make that 6. To Rendon. 3-0. Castillo needing a strike here. Doesn't get it. Back-to-back 4-pitch walks for Castillo. Barnhart will go out and talk to him.
I think one of the things that Castillo is trying to do tonight, and maybe this is simply following the scouting report, but you know, he's trying to pick away at that outside corner, and he's not using the entire 17 inches of home plate. So when you try to pick away, you know, imagine the plate being 7 baseballs across, and you're only pitching to half the plate. You know, your strike zone that you're aiming at is only the width of 3.5 baseballs. That's a hard spot to hit over and over again. Plus, you're also giving the hitters a chance to kind of look for it out there a little bit.
Action in the Reds pen. Michael Lorenzen, the righty, up and loosening up.
Well, he's handled Wieters twice, so maybe his confidence will be high on him and be able to get a nice easy out for the 3rd out of the inning.
Fights off a pitch inside. Cozart makes the play in the shift, and Castillo does strand 2. Reds need some runs. every game on Fox Sports Ohio. All the info you need to get ready for that day's duel. It's Reds Live, the pregame edition. It's presented by Ray St. Clair Roofing. 12:30 tomorrow for Reds Live, and Tanner Roark will take on Homer Bailey. Back-to-back good outings for Homer Bailey, coming back from multiple arm surgeries. First two, not good. Last two, pretty good. Hope you join us tomorrow. Bottom of the sixth now. Scooter Gennett leads off for the Reds against Max Scherzer. Scooter 0 for 2 and has struck out both times up. Were you superstitious as a pitcher like Scherzer is?
Well, not quite as superstitious as I understand that he is, but you know, everybody has their little quirks.
There was a story that he had a lucky belt. He was going good and couldn't find his lucky belt, man. And they looked everywhere and it was buried somewhere in his locker, and he finally found his lucky belt. But I think that my favorite Max Scherzer story was in 2015 spring training. He likes to simulate everything, and he was warming up in the bullpen in spring training, and he says you got to get ready to head onto the field and throw. He was basically getting ready to throw the first batting practice, but he wants to simulate everything. But first, I've got to have the national anthem. He said you got to simulate it like it's a real game. It's always about the little things. So before he could leave the bullpen, then manager Matt Williams, who was standing near him, he made him hum the Star Spangled Banner.
That's great.
They stood there while Williams hummed the Star Spangled Banner like he would do if he's the starting pitcher before he left the bullpen. Had to get ready. Says it's about the little things. Can you imagine Matt Williams, tough guy Matt Williams, before they leave the bullpen?
Well, I guess if Max Scherzer asks you to do it,
yeah,
you're going to do it. He has been one of those contracts, a huge contract that the Nationals signed him to.
Historic contract at the time.
He signed through 2021. He'll be 37 years old the year after he becomes a free agent. A lot of the money is deferred, but it's still huge money anyway. And you know, the 82 starts that he has had for the Nationals, he's carried a no-hitter into the 6th inning in 11 of them. That's just dominant stuff. Of course, he pitched no-hitters, 2 no-hitters in the same season, 2015. In fact, he was actually on his way to perfect games. One was ruined by an error, the other was ruined by a hit batter.
Seven-year contract after 7 major league seasons with Arizona and Detroit. Back in the minor leagues, they nicknamed him Max a Million. We may have to amend that. Max a multi-million. He is dealing tonight.
shortstop spot. But before the game, well, it was donkey days here at Great American Ballpark. Honey Hill Farm in Pendleton County, Kentucky had 3 donkeys. This is Amos. Now, this is not Zach's donkey that Joey got him. They are trading Zach's donkey, but Zach was able to come over and meet Amos, and he and Scooter Jeanette had a great time over there with the donkeys. And in the Kroger fan zone, the fans are over there as well, petting 2 other donkeys. Now, you can help name Cozart's donkey. Now through July 31st, send your donkey name ideas to donkey@reds.com. Zach will review the submissions and reveal his choice in August. For more information, go to reds.com/name-that-donkey. So send them in. I know Jim Day and Chris Welsh, you have your thoughts on what they should name that donkey.
I like Brian Price's idea that Cozart's nickname is Coach. He just said just call him assistant coach.
I think that's a great idea. Yeah. Better than I could come up with, but I can tell you it ought to be a fun contest, though. I know a lot of fans are into it, so sit down, put your thinking caps on, and name that donkey.
Sounds like a game show. Should be a game show on Reds Live. Like play so you think you're a Reds fan. Here's a deep drive. Michael Lorenzen into the game, and Ryan Rayburn greets him rudely.
On an 0-2 pitch. Hung a breaking ball.
Number 2 on the season for Rayburn, and the lead goes to 4.
Well, that is not a spot for an 0-2 pitch. I mean, you work so hard to get ahead of a hitter 0-2. You're down the number 8 spot. I mean, you've got to tell yourself where you're going to miss this pitch. If I don't go and throw it exactly where I want it, I have to have a safe zone where I'm going to miss it. So what if I bounce it in the dirt?
The night is done for Max Scherzer. Dusty Baker will send a pinch hitter to the plate, right-handed hitting Adrian Sanchez. So both starting pitchers, lines in the books. So 6 innings of scoreless baseball for Max Scherzer. 10 strikeouts.
We got to remember that Scherzer, of course, was in the All-Star game. Prior to that, he pitched against the Atlanta Braves and threw 120 pitches on July the 7th. So he's had some time off, but still, they're trying to give him a breather the same way that Dusty Baker wants to give, you know, the rest of his position players some extra breathers.
Here's a hard hit ball right at Adam Duvall. So 2 hard hit balls, 1 a home run and 1 a line out. So Max Scherzer, 12th 10 or more strikeout game of the season. 12 of them. Man.
Well, he made a believer out of me. I've never seen him pitch, you know, to the Reds in person here, and at least in a Washington Nationals uniform. I remember when he first came up to the big leagues with the Arizona Diamondbacks. I mean, his minor league numbers were unbelievable. In fact, in his first appearance as a minor league player, I think he retired 13 straight.
He now has 183 strikeouts and 134 in the 3rd innings this season.
Well, strikeouts are up around baseball, but that doesn't explain Max Scherzer. I mean, impeccable control of really great pitches. That's a tough combination to find. In fact, I still wonder how the Diamondbacks ever decided to trade him at all. Josh Burns was the general manager at the time, and I think he was convinced that Scherzer was destined to be a reliever. And they ended up trading him from Arizona in a 3-team deal that eventually sent him to the Detroit Tigers, and then when he became a free agent, the other team involved in that was the Yankees. And the Diamondbacks got in return Edwin Jackson and Ian Kennedy.
Wow. Not the start Michael Lorenzo was looking for. Home run, hard hit ball, walk. Now Stephen Drew.
Well, he's not finishing his breaking ball right now, and he's kind of pitching straight up as you follow through. You take a few days off, you get into the All-Star break, you get out of your routine a little bit. You've got to work really hard to go back to where you were.
So how many involved in that who was with the Diamondbacks at the time? How many times do you think they've just looked back and said, what were we thinking? Or is it that hard to project? I mean, obviously you can't project that he might become the best pitcher in baseball, or at least arguably in the top 3.
No, but his strikeout numbers were off the charts in the minor leagues. And, you know, he didn't come into the major leagues and wow everybody all at one time. We're talking about Scherzer again. Well, I mean, you know, it could have been that the Diamondbacks thought that they were a couple of pitchers away and they wanted some veteran pitching. They got that in Edwin Jackson. They got that in Ian Kennedy. But the next few years for the Diamondbacks after that deal was done were not very good.
Barnhart airmails one to center field. Goodwin was steal number 11 on the season.
Well, it wouldn't have mattered because he got such a big jump right here. And it would have had to have been a perfect throw, even to make it close.
Said steal number 11. That would be number 2.
Brian Goodwin, a former Midland Redskins. He played some summer baseball right here in Cincinnati.
It is amazing the amount of players, and we're talking big time players, gone through that program. We have documented that so many times.
Well, Scooter Gennett being another one.
Here's a base hit past the diving Scooter Gennett. They're going to hold up Goodwin at third base. So now first and third, and still only one out. And the big dog's coming up. Tough situation. One already in. First and third, one out. Number 34 digs in. Looks at ball 1. Barnhart senses the struggles, wants to talk about it.
Well, you can clearly see that he is struggling mechanically, and maybe giving that home run ball up on an 0-2 count has kind of set him further into a spiral. But he's flying open with his front side, arm lagging behind just a little bit. And he's usually been pretty dependable. And that's one reason why you see Brian Price pacing.
Hitters count at 2-0. 3-0. That heater was at 99. Left center field, falls in front of Duvall. Another run scores in a 2-run inning for the Nationals, and it's 5-0.
Bryce Harper goes down to get that pitch. I mean, he just dropped that bat head. Watch where his front foot lands. He closes up a little bit to make sure he's got coverage of the outside corner.
Joe Luckup tells me that's only the second time Harper has swung on a 3-0 count this year in 32 opportunities.
What did he do the other time?
Oh,
I would have to ask you that, wouldn't I? Sorry about that.
You know, that was that look of, have you ever seen, if they had a show Stump the Stat Guy, you get one of those hateful looks back.
Well,
that's what you just got.
You can see him in his conversation down there with the first base coach Gary Thurman that he was thinking about the other way, because that's the way the Reds have been pitching him his entire the series so far. Down and away, and going that way is what he wanted to do.
Doesn't get much easier with Zimmerman at the plate and Murphy on deck. Two and 0. Three and 0. Every major league pitcher's been there. You can't find the zone. Four-pitch walk. Blake Wood is warming up in the Reds bullpen, but I'm not sure you would consider him ready to come into the game. Cheer on Joey Votto and the Reds. They take on the Marlins for as low as $12. First 20,000 fans at the gates will receive a batting practice pullover thanks to Fox Sports Ohio. Tickets, visit Reds.com. Bases juiced. Nowhere to put Daniel Murphy. And another pitch way out of the zone.
You know, when I said that Michael Lorenzen is his front side is flying open, your front side when you're right-handed pitcher is your left side, and you have to keep your shoulder pointed towards your target as long as you possibly can. And if it flies open a little bit, if you pull away a little bit too soon, your arm gets a little bit slow behind the body.
This one finds a hole. Yep, finds a hole, and another run comes in. 6-0 Washington.
Boy, this is the kind of meltdown on Lorenzen we have not seen in a long, long time.
And that will be it for Michael. Three runs across so far, and still bases loaded, and still only one out. Ryan Price will take the baseball, and he'll give it to Blake Wood on the other side. It's our Skyline Chili call to the bullpen.
broadcast is presented by authority of the Cincinnati Reds and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Reds.
36,462 turnout on this Super Saturday on Billy Hamilton bobblehead night. What do you think? You know, he's got we talked about that new dental work, and I think they were ahead of the curve on the bobblehead. Smile's looking good, and in real life looking good. Although the scoreboard, not so much. The Reds will turn to Blake Wood. Bases loaded, 1 out. 3 already across here in the 7th for the Nationals. Doan hacks at the first pitch, out of play. And we've all talked about that Scooter Gennett 4-home run game. Anthony Rendon on April 30th made a bid for one of the games of the year. On April 30th went 6 for 6 with 3 home runs, a double, and 10 RBIs and 5 runs scored. So Gennett's been getting most of the press for the most outstanding game this year, but Rendon made his case on April 30th. That is quite the day. I mean, Scooter, what was he 5 for 5 that day?
Yes, he was.
Rendon 6 for 6. 3 home runs, 10 RBIs. Wow. Scooters came on June 6th against the Cardinals right here at Great American Ballpark. Count is 1-2 to Rendon. We are in the 7th inning, and the Nationals behind Gio Gonzalez. 2 relievers last night, Albers and Grace, and now 6 innings of Max Scherzer. The Reds have yet to score a run. Perhaps they could send Redzilla to the plate, although Redzilla has already made his debut tonight. Here is a deep drive to left center field. Is it a grand slam? Indeed it is. Anthony Rendon blows this one wide open. And it's all kind of ugly for the Reds. 10-0 Nationals.
Well, hard to believe that this game after 3 innings was 0-0. After 6 innings, it was 3-0. That's a bad spot for a splitter.
Second career grand slam for Anthony Rendon. 18th home run of the season. 2nd of the game. And 6 RBIs on the night. We talk about the big 3, Harper, Zimmerman, Murphy. You get through those guys, you got Rendon to deal with. Mercy. Ninth batter of the inning is Matt Wieters.
Well, that makes a tough line for Michael Lorenzen. 1/3 of an inning pitched, 6 earned runs.
That'll obviously get the ERA up in a hurry.
Wieters being a team guy.
Now Ryan Rayburn, who started this half inning for the Nationals with a home run off of Lorenzen, will bat for the second time here in the 7th. Base hit into center field. Adrian Sanchez will take his second at bat of the inning. How often do you pinch hit for the pitcher and get another at bat in that same inning?
So is this technically a pinch hit appearance, or is he, since he's already in the ball game?
I'm going to have to defer to the rules guy, and that's you.
Well, I'm being
John Browdy reports in, the former PR guru of the Reds, saying it is not a pinch hit the second time.
I wouldn't think it would be, but worth the question.
Lines out mercifully to right field. All Nationals here tonight once again.
On Fox Sports Ohio, make sure to stick around for Reds Live, brought to you by Performance Kings Honda, for a complete recap and interviews from the locker room. And you can join the Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater Cincinnati for the 3rd annual Sand Volleyball Classic on August 12th. Co-ed teams of 8 are welcome to come out and compete for a great cause. You can register today at bgcgc.org.
Adrian Sanchez stays into the game and will play shortstop after taking 2 at-bats in the 7th. And a new pitcher on the hill For the Nationals, left-hander Any Romero.
I would imagine Dusty Baker feels a little more comfortable turning over a game to his bullpen when the score is 10-zip. And had the Reds been able to put another 0 on the board and only a 3-run cushion.
Romero, 26 years of age, 6'3", 215. From Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic. Obviously, so many great players have come out of the Dominican Republic, and also great videographers like Chris Welsh.
I had a good subject by being able to have Johnny Cueto in that video.
The build-up for that video was unbelievable.
It was quite a
Like
several years. Yeah,
we've never seen before.
Nor again.
I mean, you know, they always talk about you got to have a good tease in baseball. You got to be able to tease. As Barnhart looks at strike 3, has some words with Jeff Kellogg.
Yeah, he thought it was ball 4. He thought that pitch was up. Romero gets a strikeout there to start the inning off. Romero was traded to the Washington Nationals in February of this year. You know, one of the things that can help you get a high call a ball if you're a hitter is to stay in your crouch. As you begin to make your swing, that is where the umpire is going to judge the height of the strike zone. And as the ball comes in, if you read it being high and you start to stand up, you're giving that umpire a reason to think that that strike zone is a little bit higher than it actually is.
Arizmendi Alcantara, switch hitter batting from the right-hand side. Pinch hitting here in the pitcher spot. Wandy Peralta now warming up in the pen, the lefty for the Reds. This was a game that, as you talked about, Chris, just got out of hand in a hurry. It was hard to believe that we entered the 7th inning with just a 3-0 deficit, and Luis Castillo only gave up 3 hits in the 4th. Single, double, home run to make it 3-0. Just like that, Lorenzen comes in, gives up 6 runs in a 1/3 of an inning. Blake Wood gives up a run in 2/3 of an inning. Back-to-back strikeouts looking.
Now, contrast, wasn't that high? Same question that I think Tucker Barnhart had, and he got the same answer. Back-to-back looking strikeouts for Romero, hard-throwing left-hander.
Would you call that a 10-0 strike zone?
Well, I don't know. Nowadays, I don't think you see that nearly as much as you used to. Umpires being graded on every pitch that they call, and they get a grade at the end of the game.
Reds have yet to score a run, but Hamilton, one of the few, I guess I'd call it a bright spot. 2 for 3, double, got a stolen base.
I would say definitely a bright spot tonight. Unfortunately, you know, the Reds, they had opportunity there against Scherzer, and he doesn't give you very many opportunities. First inning, first 2 runners get on, nobody out. Second inning, leadoff runner on. Third inning, first 2 runners on, nobody out. And then the guys who you hope to do the damage, 3, 4, and 5 in the order, just, you know, Scherzer was able to beat Max Scherzer.
Romero comes in and strikes out the side. Here we go to the 8th.
Harper. How about the Dodgers? Cody Bellinger. What a rookie year he's having. He hits for the cycle this evening. He's the first Dodger rookie ever to hit for the cycle. Singles in the first, this home run here in the third, a double in the fourth, and then a thank you triple in the seventh as this gets by the outstretched arms of the outfielder there. Fifth cycle in the majors this season. Again, Cody Bellinger, the first Dodger rookie ever to hit for the cycle. And we told you guys earlier about this Yankee-Red Sox game, and the Yankees have just taken the lead 2-1 in the top of the 16th. Fellas, that game started at 4 o'clock this afternoon, so they have been playing for quite some time. Again, the Yankees now lead it 2-1 at the top of the 16th, guys.
16 innings of baseball.
Sounds like a good day at the ballpark for me. And I know you're sharing with me. And maybe so does Wandy Peralta, who will be the new pitcher for the Reds. We saw both Michael Lorenzen and Blake Wood in the 7th inning, and now Peralta takes over to pitch the top of the 8th. You know, I ought to mention that it is difficult coming back after an all-star break, especially for relievers. You get out of a routine. You're used to playing catch every day. You know, and you're traveling probably 2 of the days of the all-star break. You may not get the kind of throwing that you normally get. But you have to get yourself mentally prepared, because you don't get a day of spring training coming back from the all-star break as a break-in day.
How many guys have you known that will try to throw during the break?
Oh, everybody. At least I would assume so. I don't think you can go 3 or 4 days without picking up a baseball and expect to get a big league hitter out at the end, a guy who may have been taking batting practice every day.
Right. Number of changes for the Reds defensively, and we'll go over them here in a second. As Peralta strikes out the first batter he sees in Goodwin. Stuart Turner now behind the plate for the Reds. Arismendi Alcantara stays into the game. He's at shortstop. And Patrick Kivalahan relieves Joey Votto at first base. So moves you would expect in a 10-0 deficit game. As former Red Chris Heisey taking at bat for Stephen Drew. Or for Romero, excuse me. The double switch earlier. Heisey started here last night. Went 0 for 4, struck out twice. There's that old saying.
Ball hit like a rocket shot to Eugenio. I'm not sure it got him on the glove. I think it got him on a part of his body down there, and they're gonna hang him with a very painful error.
Ouch. Harper still into this game at 10-0. He'll take his 5th at bat of the night. A couple of singles, couple of runs scored, and a run driven in. doing a radio interview today, and I was asked about the pleasant surprises of 2017. There were two that came to mind. One was the power numbers of Schebler, and the second is this guy on the hill. And it's been documented many times on this air. It just seemed like a light switch went off at the end of spring training. He's had a few moments here and there, a few bumps in the road, like any reliever will have, but overall, he has worked his way into a solid position in this organization, and really Brian Price relying on him a lot in key situations.
Yeah, he's actually taken over the spot previously owned by Tony Cingrani down the bullpen as a late left-handed reliever. He's been in high leverage situations all year long, and I think it didn't all happen at one time for Peralta. It just seemed like that. I think what's happened with him is that he's been able to develop that slider, and that has made him a better pitcher against left-handed hitters. Those were the guys that always gave him the problems. But now with the slider, lefties have more of a problem, and he still has that good fastball changeup combo.
Once again, the Reds with a big shift on Harper. If he wanted to, he's got an easy bunt single on the left side if he can get it past Peralta. But with the runner on, even though it's 10-0. In fact, now that I think about it, if he lays down a bunt at 10-0, the unwritten rules of baseball, that would not go over so well. So I stand corrected. Take on Homer Bailey in game 3 of this 4-game wraparound set. Reds and Nationals, and good things coming from Homer Bailey as he tries to hone back the old Homer after multiple surgeries to his elbow. 6 2/3 innings of 1-run baseball Sunday when he defeated the Diamondbacks, final game before the All-Star break, through 102 pitches. It was a much better Homer Bailey out last time out.
The Reds will rely on him again tomorrow to be a stopper after losing the first couple of games here after the All-Star break. If this one continues the way it has so far, they're down 10-0. Looking for Homer maybe to stop the bleeding a little bit. Young man making his major league debut on the mound for the Washington Nationals, Austin Adams. 26-year-old right-hander from Tampa, Florida.
Your old stomping grounds.
He actually went to school, my old alma mater, the University of South Florida, played for the Bulls. Reds have a young man in their minor leagues right now, Jimmy Herget, who is also from South Florida. He is one of those pitchers who was able to pitch in the Futures game. Did a nice job in his stint, and I would expect to see him in the major leagues probably sometime, if not this year, certainly next year.
Well, Brian Price coming out of spring training said, don't be surprised as Kiblahan, broken bat, air committed, and he'll reach. Sanchez commits the air. Coming out of spring training, Brian Price said, don't be surprised if Jimmy Herget doesn't race through the system, and you see him this year.
Saw job right here, right in on the hands, but Kiblahan runs well. Not good enough to beat that at first base and just field it cleanly.
So an E6 on the play, and now Stuart Turner, who the Reds just need to find ways, and this is one of the opportunities to get him some playing time and get him some at bats. With Devin Mesoraco on the disabled list. Mesoraco, by the way, and I'm not sure we've seen him in the bullpen, but they got clearance for Mesoraco to catch in the bullpen tonight. Even though he's on the disabled list. He was supposed to face some live batting practice. That did not happen today. But they say the rehab is going well. Turner draws a walk for the major league debut of Austin Adams. Off to a first and second, nobody out start with the air by the shortstop. Daniel Murphy, being the veteran he is, goes in and has a couple words for Adams.
You know, when you're a young man making your major league debut, the score is really irrelevant. You know, you want to go out there and you want to impress. You're telling yourself, hey, this is, for me, this is a 0-0 game, 7th inning of the World Series. And I'm laying it all on the line right here and now. Oh. How did that miss him?
Needless to say, that'll go down as a wild pitch.
Almost got a foul ball out of it.
Yeah. Wow, that's a scary one. It's one where Weeder said, you know what, I can't even get that.
Well, we
worried
didn't
about
show
the ricochet.
At the very end of that, Adams came into home to cover the plate, and he said something to Duvall, obviously to the point where, hey, man, I'm sorry about that. Duvall acknowledged that. But it's still hard to get that memory out of your mind.
Oh, and hits him this time. Tried like crazy the first time, but no doubt on this one. I shouldn't say try. Obviously, that's not intentional.
Fortunately for Adam Duvall, it was a breaking ball there. The first one was a fastball, and hopefully it got him on that brace, protect her a little bit. No pain.
Pitching coach Mike Maddox out for a talk, and this is what they say, a checkup from the neck up and a pep talk. Mike Maddox, born in Dayton, Ohio, brother of Greg Maddox. Nationals are going to get Oliver Perez up, the lefty, with Austin Adams struggling mightily here in the 8th. Air certainly didn't help. Nearly hit Jeanette with the first pitch. Air, walk, hit batter. Nearly back-to-back hit batters. Misses again. Kivlahan at third. Turner at second base. Duvall at first. Reds trying to score their first run of the series, and it's 3-0. And the Reds indeed have their first run of the series. Now Suarez. One grand slam in his career. He'd love to run into one right here.
Adams just seems to be the kind of pitcher right now, just trying to throw the ball as hard as he can. Whether it's breaking ball or fastball really doesn't matter. He just wants to cut it loose, trying to harness some of that adrenaline he's got rolling through him.
Two and one. All kinds of struggles for Adams. And this crowd of 36,000 plus, with many have hit the exits already, trying to make a little bit of noise for something to happen, and Suarez makes it happen. Hold up Duvall at third base, but an RBI single for Suarez. The Reds have 2 runs on the board. Here comes Dusty. So the Reds get a hit, or a run, excuse me, 2 of them, with only 1 hit in the inning. Dusty Baker makes a slow stroll to the mound, and I'm sure he hates to take the ball from that rookie. Tough major league debut. Here comes Oliver Perez here in the 8th. Fridays at the ballpark. Reds versus Marlins for as low as $12, plus that fireworks post-game show presented by, with a performance, I should say, by the Cincinnati Pops. Thanks to United Dairy Farmers. For tickets, Reds.com. Love when the Cincinnati Pops shows up at the yard. New pitcher for the Nationals, lefty Oliver Perez facing lefty Scott Schebler. Bases still loaded, nobody out. Popped up. Rendon in foul territory, 1 out. Now Jose Peraza will come off the bench. Take his first at bat of the night. Peraza way out in front behind 0-1. To the count. Oliver Perez now 35 years of age.
Well, if you'd have told me back in 2002 that he would still be pitching in 2017, I would never believed it. He has etched himself out a really tremendous major league career. Spent the first 8 years of his career as a starter. First 2 years with the Padres and with the Pittsburgh Pirates, and really that's where we saw him the most. Always very animated on the mound. He'd celebrate strikeouts, run off the mound and on the mound. That got the other team upset a few times. But he is still throwing mid-90s after being around for 16 years.
Spent the latter part of 2006 with the Mets. Stayed with the Mets through 2010. Peraza pops one up. Murphy out to get it. Runs it down. 2 outs. Alcantara, next hitter. 2012, Perez was Seattle. 2013, Seattle. Arizona. Houston in 2015, and now the Nationals, 2016 and 2017. Pretty good pension.
You max out.
Hailing from Mexico. One pitch to Alcantara. 1-2. This is one of those weird wraparound series. 4-gamer. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. You don't see them too often. And even more rare is the Monday afternoon game, non-holiday.
Well, make it a holiday by coming out to the ballpark is what I say. Now, why
You
not?
should be in PR.
Well, I love those businessman specials. And usually get them on Wednesdays or Thursdays.
Right.
But here you get it on Wednesday. What a way to start your work week. By calling your boss up and saying, I'm not feeling too good about noon. I think I'm going to have to head home.
Well,
to home plate.
You also can come out and see Steven Strasburg toe the rubber.
He'll be faced by Scott Feldman that day. Be a good matchup. Feldman's been throwing the ball well. Strasburg, 9-game winner.
People are probably wondering, hey, why not a night game on Monday? And I don't know this for a fact, but I'm assuming it's because Washington is headed to face the Angels on Tuesday. And with that long travel, even though they pick up 3 hours, getaway day of Strasburg, who this year so far has been able to avoid the disabled list and has made every start. And that's obviously been the difference in his career.
When he's been healthy, he's been very good.
Nationals will play the Angels and then the Diamondbacks. 3-city roadie. Contra keeps fighting them off. Go the runners and another foul ball. Nine-pitch at bat. 3-2, 2 outs. The runners will be on the move yet again. Chopper. Contra can run. Let's get a pair. Still trail big time.
Brought to you by Kroger. Stop by your neighborhood Kroger and save big store-wide. Great food, low prices at Kroger. By Cincinnati USA Regional Tourism Network. Stay close to CincinnatiUSA.com. And by Toyota. For over 30 offers, visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. 10-2 as we head to the 9th inning here. The Nationals leading over the Reds. 9 hits for the Nationals, just 4 hits for the Reds, and they've finally broke through in the run column. And we told you about this Yankees-Red Sox game earlier today, and it ends up going 16 innings. The Yankees put a 3-spot on the board in the top of the 16th, 4 hits and a sacrifice fly, including a Didi Gregorius, a former Red RBI single. 9 innings of relief pitching by the Yankee pitchers, just 4 hits there. There were a total of 16 pitchers used, 8 by each team in that long game won by the Yankees, gentlemen.
Raisel Iglesias. Reds need to just get him with some work. And he will do so here in the 9th. 16 innings of baseball.
Yeah, one little footnote to that game is that I understand that the Red Sox are protesting that game because of a controversial call that happened in the 11th inning. And the only way you can protest a game is if there's a misinterpretation of the rules, not a judgment play. So I haven't seen that play yet, so I'll check it out and give you a full report when we convene tomorrow.
Well, I would expect our rules guy to do nothing less. And again, that would be you. It'd be interesting to see, though, what that is. Don't see it often that
you do not
protest a game.
A couple of times a year is about all you see that. Raisel Iglesias on. Get a little tune-up work.
So the Yankees now be 3.5 games back of Boston in the American League East. Boston came in today 3.5 games clear of Tampa Bay, 4.5 ahead of the Yankees. So the Yankees cut a game off of that. Sell. Sits down Zimmerman. 9th strikeout of the night by Reds pitchers.
Right up the ladder with this fastball.
So the season really starting to take fold as the teams that are going to be the ones in playoff contention. He just throws it right by Daniel Murphy at 99 mph. Once again, Murphy, but Giblahan robs him. But once again, just getting the bat on the ball. Giblahan gloves it for out number 2. Here's our Miller time moment, brought to you by Miller Lite. Anthony Rendon. Story of this one: home run number 17 in the 4th, a 2-run job, and then a grand slam in the 7th. Part of a 7-run 7th for the Nationals. Blow this game open. Stands at 10-2. Jones average now at 313. One.
Feeling pretty live after a few days off,
I'd say. Have we seen him throw 101 before? Appeal? No.
You know, I don't know. I know that he's reached 100. Well, he started 5 games last year, so I wouldn't think it would have been one of those starts.
No.
This 37th game that he's pitching for the Reds this year will match his career high for most games in a season. Probably only about halfway there, really, maybe a little bit more so.
Ball up the middle, and Rendon continues a hot night.
99 miles an hour and turns it right back into a ground ball base hit through the box.
And now Matt Wieters 0 for 4 on the night. Cubs beat the Orioles 10-3, Camden Yards. Cardinals shut out the Pirates in Pittsburgh 4-0. Brewers just keep on keeping on. 3-2 winners over the Phillies at Miller Park. Brewers will maintain that 5.5 game lead over the Cubs. Cubs get once again back to the 500 mark. They've just been teetering right around that mark all season long. Now at 45 and 45. Fresh off a trade, thinking they can catch the Brewers. Interesting down the stretch as we head into the deep summer months. And the Cubs might not be done trading. We'll see. They basically made the first serve of the trade season.
And they landed a big one.
Line drive off the glove of Suarez. First hit of the night for Wieters. Back to back 2-out hits.
Yeah, he just kind of stuck his bat right out there, didn't he? And ends up with a base hit out of it.
Ryan Rayburn. Home run and a single to his credit tonight. Braves leading the D-backs 7-4, top of the 8th. So the Braves would actually climb within one game of 500. But will still trail these Washington Nationals by 9.5 games in the East. Chopper. Contra. Step on second base. Bottom of the ninth we go from Great American Ballpark. Unless a miracle happens, they will win their second straight over the Reds, guaranteeing them at least of a 4-game split. And you probably look at the final score and think, oh man, Luis Castillo got blown up. Well, you look at the starters comparison tonight, he did not. It was 1 inning, the 4th, in which he gave up a single, double, and a 2-run home run. He gave up 3 hits in 6 innings, and those 3 runs did walk 4 batters and struck out 6. But Max Scherzer, 6 innings, 10 strikeouts, and lowered his ERA for the season to 2.01.
Well, it was a pretty good pitching matchup while it lasted. I think Castillo is going to have a lot of good games like that. I mean, that's a quality start if you want to look at it like that. 6 innings, 3 runs. I think that's basically where you set the bar of expectation every time Castillo takes them out.
New pitcher for the Nationals is right-hander Trevor Gott. Face Hamilton, Kivlahan, Stuart Turner here in the 9th. We saw Austin Adams make his major league debut earlier in this game, and Gott was part of a couple of moves the Nationals made yesterday. He was recalled. "24 years of age. His second major league assignment of the season."
Well, Gott's a local kid. He's from Lexington, Kentucky. Went to the University of Kentucky. Young man that got a lot of attention when he was down there at Tate's Creek High School.
Hamilton, his 3rd hit of the night.
I want to say without checking it, that sounds like that may have been Jeff Pecoro's old high school, Tate's Creek. Hamilton taking a page right out of the book of Matt Wieters. He saw Wieters do that in the previous inning. He'll just flip one into left field too.
What about it, Pig? Is that your high school?
High school, yes. There were some great games that he pitched against Robbie Ray growing up.
Very astute of you, Chris Welsh.
Well, if you look hard enough in the internet, you can find it. May not always be true. May not always be the same player you think you're getting, but was pretty confident that that was indeed Trevor Gott, 24-year-old.
Well, I looked on the internet earlier, discovered that there are 2 guys named Austin Adams currently in the major leagues. Go figure. And initially, I was looking at the wrong dude. Kivlahan, he reached on an error. His other at bat in this game and scored. Hard hit ball into right center field. That'll find the gap. Billy off to the races. Hatcher's going to wave him around, and an RBI double for Patrick Kivlahan. 10-3.
Kivlahan gets a second at bat of the night and puts a good wood to it right here. Sidearm motion from Gott doesn't faze him one bit, and he drives that right into the gap. Boy, that sounded good coming off the bat.
Second at bat for Stuart Turner. Drew a walk and scored in the 8th. Stuart Turner, the Rule 5 draftee from the Twins. Gone over many times, but if you're a Rule 5 guy, you've got to stay on the 25-man roster for the entire season. And the Reds have thus far pulled that off, including one stint on the disabled list and a rehab assignment. If and when Mesoraco comes back, they'll once again have to carry 3 catchers, which can hamstring a manager for sure. But they think enough of Turner in the future to live with it at the moment. And right now the Reds with the luxury with Romano set to start here on Tuesday. Turner drives one into right center field. Hold up Kiblahan at third, so hard hit ball off the bat of Stuart Turner.
Tell you what, that's a nice stroke out of Stuart Turner for a guy that just gets very little playing time at all. I mean, he's just going to take a nice simple approach, put the bat on the ball.
That'll warrant a trip by Mike Maddox, the pitching coach for the Nationals, who makes a slow stroll out.
Yeah, I imagine that Dusty Baker and Mike Maddox, neither of them figured that they would be, making any kind of trips to the mound here, not when they had a commanding 10-0 lead. The Reds are just a team that just does not want to go away. Even when they are seemingly on the bad end of a blowout, they seem to put a few runs on the board. If the score is even tighter, they've often come back very strong. And Mac Maddox just point at the scoreboard and say, hey, you got a big lead here at those strikes. Got to figure Gott's a little nervous anyway, even in a 10-0 or 10-3 game. He's got probably family and friends up from Lexington here to watch him pitch in this series.
More action in the Nationals pen. Matt Grace, the lefty. Adam Duvall at the plate. Nobody out, first and third.
Yeah, Grace came in and got the final out last night.
Base hit center field. RBI single Adam Duvall, and it's 10-4. Fourth straight hit in the inning.
Well, Gott's throwing the ball really pretty much right down the can right now, elevating it to good hitters. That would be University of Kentucky versus University of Louisville right there. And the Cardinals standing at first base with a base hit off the Wildcat.
You can reach Chris Welsh on social media. You UK fans out there.
I can take all the abuse the Big Blue want to hand me. That's big pitch.
Oh, they can dish it out now.
I had 2 daughters that went to UK and 1 son that goes to UL.
So you've earned it.
House divided.
With tuition. Oh, yes. Tuition and house divided. All right, now Scooter Gennett. Scooter should run into one. It would be in so-called slam range. Still nobody out.
Gott's got a nice arm. He throws 95. He's got a nice quick arm action, a little bit low, 3/4 arm angle.
One ball, 2 strikes to Scooter Gennett. Gott dealing. Net stays alive. Two and two. Jeanette.
Did he?
Indeed, he does run into one. Scooter, three-run bomb. Don't look now, but the Reds are within 3. Number 16 for Scooter, and still nobody out here in the 9th.
Kind of a long at bat right there after Jeanette got down in the count and finally got a pitch right in his wheelhouse. Oh my God.
And Dusty Baker has to call on Matt Grace again. This bullpen for the Nationals, they are such a good team, but their bullpen, the worst in baseball. And they've yet to retire a batter here in the 9th. Back after this. These are updated numbers. The Reds 53 runs in the 8th inning on, fewest in Major League Baseball. And the Nationals have now given up 121 runs. 8th inning on, most in all of Major League Baseball. We are talking about a team that is 53-36.
You know, you look back on that 7th inning that got away from the Reds right there when the Nationals put the 7th spot on them, and you know, if say they only got 4 instead of 7 inning or 5, I mean, you've got a whole different look at this ball game. That's why you just never know, and you still never know. Nobody out.
Nobody out. Suarez at the plate. Schebler on deck. Race came on with 2 outs into the 9th last night and retired Tucker Barnhart. And got a 1-pitch, 1-out save last night. Three and 2. Single by Hamilton. RBI double by Kiblahan. Single by Turner. RBI single Duvall. 3-run home run Scooter Gennett. And still nobody out. And Suarez chases ball 4. One out. Scott Schebler at the plate. And rookie Jesse Winker stepped into the on-deck circle. Winker represents the final position player for Brian Price. Ball into the shift. That is a 6-3 put out. And the Reds down to their final out. And here comes Winker. 6 games he's appeared in. Still looking for his first major league home run, but 4 RBIs. His young career. Oh, 1 pitch. Chopper. And the final out. As the Nationals hold on in what turned out to be a slugfest. 17 runs scored in this one. The Nationals win 10-7. The Reds put together a 5-run 9th inning, but not enough. The Nationals win their 2nd straight here at Great American Ballpark. Reds Live, the post-game edition is on deck. Stay with us here on Fox Sports Ohio.